The immortal Motolyga, the epic saga of the MTLB, from a simple bee to a universal soldier. Alright folks, get ready for a story that will give any true tech enthusiast goosebumps. Are you prepared for a deep dive into the world of steel, tracks, and military ingenuity? We're taking one seemingly simple question from viewers and turning it into a saga spanning half a century. This will be detailed with some spice and my own reflections. Make sure to stick around until the end because there's something interesting waiting for you in the finale. And yes, your opinion is very valuable to me. So feel free to write in the comments which piece of tech we should break down next, and subscribe so you don't miss new episodes. Let's go. So here's the situation. A whole year has passed since one of my pieces, and the comments are still buzzing with serious passion. People write, "What about the Shilka? You forgot about the Motolyga plus ZSU combo." And sometimes you get gems like this. Where do you find such smart aleck writers? Learn your tech. The Motolyga is the MTLB, and the MTLL is just a tractor. And you know what? I'm not mad.
I'm grateful.
Because these questions aren't just clarifications. They are a reason to dig deeper, get to the very essence, and tell you the epic story of one of the most resilient and multifaceted combat platforms in the world. A story that features brilliant engineering solutions, economic necessity, and countless polar, desert, and mountain wars. Today, we won't just list modifications. We'll understand why so many were created and what that says about our military thinking. And we'll start, as requested, with the most important thing, the letter B. Part 1. The enigmatic letter B and the birth of the Motolyga. So what does the B in MTLB stand for? I can hear many of you already shouting, "Bashnya, turret." And you would be wrong. Here's the thing, friends. This is the first and most important lesson. Never judge a book by its cover, and never judge an armored personnel carrier by the presence of a machine gun on top. Let's decode it as the creators themselves intended back in the distant 1960s. MTL. This is the Nugget Selovoy Tyagak Legi, multipurpose tractor light. Picture the late 50s. The Army needed a universal workhorse for towing artillery, transporting cargo, and personnel over rough terrain. They created a prototype tracked amphibious but practically without armor. It was essentially a lightweight tracked cart for harsh conditions. It was even adopted as an artillery tractor. MTLB. This is the Nugget Selovoy Tyagak Legi Bronerovani, multipurpose tractor light armored. There it is, the magical letter. It stands for Bronerovani, armored. And it appeared for a reason. Now for some historical and economic context I found digging through archives. The 1960s were underway. The Cold War was in full swing. Soviet Army doctrine assumed large-scale offensive operations under conditions of both conventional and nuclear weapon use. Equipment had to be protected from damaging factors, shrapnel, radiation, blast waves. And here a conflict arises. Factories, these machines were made at the legendary Kharkov tractor plant, couldn't simultaneously produce large volumes of both the armored and unarmored versions. A choice had to be made. And the military made their choice. They realized that in modern, for that time, warfare, protecting the crew and troops wasn't a luxury, but a necessity. Therefore, production of the regular MTL was phased out, and all efforts were thrown into the MTLB. B is not just a letter. It's an entire philosophy of battlefield survival, adopted at the highest level. The armor, steel plates protecting from bullets and shrapnel. The sealed hull allowing it to overcome water obstacles and not fear radioactive dust. That is the basic, fundamental characteristic of the vehicle. And the turret? The turret is a consequence. It's a superstructure. The basic MTLB originally had only a simple turret with a machine gun, often completely open. And only later, as new tasks emerged, did they start bolting on various combat modules, up to turrets from BMPs. But the essence of the Motolyga is not in the turret. The essence is in the unpretentious, all-terrain, amphibious, and protected chassis. That's how one letter changed everything. Part 2. What about the Shilka? Debunking the main myth. Now let's deal with the Shilka. The comment, "What about the Shilka?" I see under every other video about the MTLB. And this, friends, is the most common and tenacious misconception. Let's be frank, a myth of universal scale. And I understand where it comes from. From the side, they really do look similar, low silhouette tracks, some kind of turret with barrels. But the resemblance is only superficial. It's like comparing a Ziguli and a Porsche. Both are cars, both run on 4 wheels, but the similarities end there. Let's set the record straight, and for that, we'll need another excursion into history. The anti-aircraft self-propelled gun ZSU 23-4 Shilka was adopted for service in 1965. Its task is to cover troops from low-flying aircraft and helicopters. It was the most complex system of its time. 4 rapid-fire 23mm guns, a radar fire control system, a computational unit. And for all this fury, an appropriate base was needed, powerful, stable, with high load capacity. And that base became the special track chassis GM575, created at the Mitishi machine building plant. It's an absolutely independent development. The Shilka has a different suspension, a different engine, a different layout. And what about the MTLB? It appeared later, in '71, and was originally a workhorse, not an anti-aircraft complex. And when troops in Afghanistan and later in other conflicts needed a mobile anti-aircraft gun to fight helicopters and for firing at mountain slopes, they showed ingenuity. They took the standard anti-aircraft guns U-23-2, the same 2 guns as on the Shilka, but without radars and complex automation, and simply bolted it onto ropes or welded structures in the MTLB's cargo bed. The result was an improvised, cheap, but deadly self-propelled gun. It was called a Zuzka on a Motolyga base. Conclusion: the Shilka, ZSU 23-4, and the MTLB with a ZU 23-2 are technically and tactically different machines. The Shilka is a high-tech air defense system on its own unique chassis. The MTLB with a Zuzka is a clever, effective, and cheap ersatz, a field upgrade that proved its viability in real combat. The confusion arises from similar armament and general purpose. But now you know the truth. Part 3. The Motolyga phenomenon. Why are there so many? Economics and ingenuity. And here we come to the main point. Look, we counted more than 25 official and semi-official MTLB modifications created in the USSR and Russia alone. And that's not including Ukrainian, Belarusian, Polish, Swedish, Azerbaijani variants. This is madness. Why? What's so special about this machine? The answer lies in 3 words: simplicity, endurance, cheapness. Let's think logically, like a military engineer or even an economist. 1. Historical and economic context. The USSR was a huge country with a giant army and limited resources per unit. It was necessary to saturate the troops with equipment in colossal quantities. Creating a unique chassis for each task is incredibly expensive and time-consuming. It's much more rational to take one proven, successful platform and make everything based on it, from a tractor to a chemical reconnaissance vehicle. It's like a Lego set. There's a universal platform, the MTLB chassis, and you can put different bricks, modules on it, command post, medical, with a gun, with a radar. This is called unification, and it saves billions. 2. Technical genius. The design of the MTLB is brilliant in its simplicity. The engine is located at the front, which is unusual for the Soviet school, but it protects the crew. Wide tracks create low ground pressure. The machine floats over snow and swamp, which is why it was loved in northern and Siberian garrisons. It swims, carries up to 10 people or 2 tons of cargo. It's field reparable, can run on any fuel from diesel to aviation kerosene. It's the perfect soldier. 3. Adaptation to wars. Now let's see how the Motolyga evolved for specific conflicts.
Afghanistan, Mountain Us, guerrilla war.
Fire from elevated positions was needed. MTLBS with AGS-17 Plamia, automatic grenade launcher, and those same ZU-23-2S for firing at infantry on slopes appeared. Chechen campaigns, urban combat. It was necessary to clear militants out of buildings. Improvisations with RPG-7s and Schmel flamethrowers right on the roof were born. Modern conflicts, Syria, Ukraine, the era of drones and precision weapons. The Motolyga is back in action. Why? Because it's expendable. A cheap, mass-produced platform is ideal for mounting electronic warfare, EW, systems to jam drones, or for transporting Cornet ATGM crews. Yes, its armor is weak against modern tank guns, but against shrapnel, bullets, and drones, it works. And losing an MTLB isn't as painful for the budget as losing a brand new BMP worth several $1,000,000. Part 4. A gallery of incredible transformations. From flame to sapsan. Now, as promised, let's run through the most striking professions of our heroine. Imagine the Motolyga as a character actor who can play anyone. Fire support. The MTLBAGS with the Plamia grenade launcher is an infantry punisher in cover. The MTLBSH with a turret from a BMP is almost a full-fledged, albeit lightly protected, infantry fighting vehicle. And imagine an MTLB with a Cornet ATGM, a mobile tank hunter that pops out from cover, fires, and hides. Specialists. The MTLB, RKHM, a whole line of chemical and radiation reconnaissance vehicles. The crew in gas masks and chemical suits inside a sealed hull searches for poison and radiation. The MTLB with an EW complex is already a 21st century cyber warrior. Its weapon is radio interference. Medics and commanders. The medical MTLB with a Red Cross evacuates wounded under fire. The MTLBK command is a field headquarters on tracks, covered in antennas. Engineers and laborers. The MTLB with a mortar is artillery that fires and gets away before return fire. The MTLB with a mine trawl goes ahead of a column and neutralizes mines. Modern hybrids. The MTLBMD Sapson BM, or a variant with the Berezhawk combat module. This is a serious upgrade. A remotely controlled turret with a thermal imager, machine gun, and grenade launcher. The crew sits inside and fires without exposing themselves. This is an attempt to breathe new tactical life into an old platform. That's the real magic. One base, 25 faces. Isn't that a testament to the genius of the concept? Conclusion. The immortal Motolyga and a call to action. So what do we have in the end? We have a phenomenon. The Motolyga is more than just a machine. It's a symbol of military pragmatism, engineering ingenuity, and amazing adaptability. It was born in the era of global wars, went through the crucible of local conflicts, and found its place in the era of hybrid and drone warfare. This history is one of constant improvisation, where troops take what's at hand and make it work to the maximum. It's not the fastest, not the most protected, and not the most powerful. But it is ubiquitous. Like water that finds a path through any crack, the Motolyga finds application in any war. Its B isn't just for Bronarovani. For those who served, it's a Bovoi Tovarish, battle comrade. For engineers, it's Bespobodny, trouble-free. For economists, it's Byudzitny, budget-friendly. And for history, it's Besmertny, immortal. So that's the story, folks. From one letter to an entire era. I hope it was interesting and informative. Now it's your turn to act. Write in the comments. Have you ever encountered a Motolyga in real life? Maybe served on one? What other legendary but underrated piece of tech should we break down in the next episode? The Urigan? The Grad? Or something more modern? Or maybe you know of any other crazy MTLB modifications I didn't mention. Your comments are fuel for new research. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Because we'll dig just as deep, with the same attention to detail and historical context. Thanks for sticking with us until the end. See you in the next episode. Peaceful skies above, but let's keep our knowledge in order. Bye everyone.